What is it like to be an apprentice in the pipe trades? When I say pipe trades, I'm talking about pipe fitters, sprinkler fitters, welders, HVAC technicians. All these trades pertain to a certain union called the UA, the United Associations. What is it like to be an apprentice within the UA? So I came across this video on YouTube, Life in the Pipe Trades with Real United Association Apprentices. Let's hop in to see what these apprentices have to say. Don't know if they're going to be honest about how being an apprentice in the trades really is, or if they're just going to be like, hey, join the UA. But anyway, let's hop into it.
The job of a UA apprentice is tough.
I had to do what I have to do to support my family.
Definitely do not expect it to be easy.
I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, I get my kids dressed and ready. I have to be in the parking lot for work at 5:30.
Now, if you don't have the will to learn and to persevere and push on, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. You're gonna have some good days, some bad days. Don't give up, don't be a quitter.
I still sometimes think, did I make the right choice?
Well, so far, 45 seconds in, they haven't let me down yet. They're actually kind of speaking a little bit of truth, which if any of you who are watching this video work in the trades, or have gone through an apprenticeship or are an apprentice right now, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I heard nothing but facts, if I'm being honest.
A career with the United Association of Journeymen and Apprentices of the plumbing and pipe fitting industry can be rewarding and open up doors to a bright future. But is life in the pipe trades right for you?
I'm easing my way into it. I didn't think it was going to be the way that it is. It definitely was different from what I thought.
Do not expect it to just come to work, sit around, do whatever you want.
I expected it to be tough. I'm not a quitter, even though there was times where I actually did want to quit.
It's really fast-paced. You have to, keep moving because you don't want to sit down and look lazy.
Traffic is the worst part about it, especially after work when you're completely tired.
So I have to drive an hour here and an hour there. It's a lot. It's a lot of driving.
You still have to.
I will say, if you get into like a union apprenticeship like this, a lot of the unions do a lot of the work in the city. So if you live outside of the city and you want to get into the union, you probably are gonna have to drive. Like for me, I lived an hour away from the city, so I ended up having the majority of, doing that commute, probably half of my apprenticeship. That is something, if you don't live close to a city, like 15, 20 minutes away, you live an hour plus away, there's a good chance that you'll be having to make that commute. But, that's a little bit of a risk you're willing to take, or not even a risk, but something that you will do to become, an apprentice and build your career.
You still have to drive to class and then back, so sometimes you're getting home around 10, having to get up at 5 in the morning the following day, 4 in the morning. It's tough,
UA apprentices begin work immediately, learning alongside journeymen on real job sites, while going to classes in the evenings, making a livable wage while taking part in the 5-year program.
Yeah, just anybody can be an apprentice and try out the program, but it takes a certain kind of person to actually complete the program.
The average day in the construction trades begins as early as 6 a.m. and can often go longer than 8 hours.
Typically, I wake up around 3:30 every morning, sometimes 3, depending on traffic.
Depending on the project, the work week may not be limited to 5 days, as to meet tight project deadlines.
On the weekends, I've been working. I've been getting overtime.
I mean, sometimes they want the job done after hours or before hours. So there was times where I was getting up at like 4 in the morning to make sure I made it on time because the job started at 5 in the morning.
Life in the construction trades isn't always comfortable, as you'll be required to work in high places, confined spaces, and often in the mud.
Yeah, if you have phobias, that's there's plenty of bugs.
Yeah, I'm just observing for spiders. And those spider bites will get itchy.
If you're afraid of heights, I was actually out at a job and I was on an aerial boom just about every day for about a month and a half. I was about 80 foot in the air.
Well, I heard about a guy who left because he was scared of heights and he didn't want to get on the lift, so he quit.
There'll be bad
Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of afraid of heights, or there's a lot of things that, like the guy was saying, hopefully you don't have any phobias, because if you have phobias, fear of heights or fear of insects or fear of confined spaces and things like that, there are some trades that you're probably not going to want to get into depending on your phobia. But that is very true. I know people who were terrified of heights, but they're linemen. They just worked through that fear. It comes down to personal decision, really, I guess.
There'll be bad smells, it's loud, and sometimes there's yelling.
And in the field, people talk all the time, so you're just gonna have to get used to the yelling. There is gonna be yelling.
And as an apprentice, sometimes you may mess up. That's actually a lot of what you're gonna do. You're gonna fail, and sometimes these guys will come out and you'll get yelled at. It's a part of it. Guys are cussing, guys are mad, it's hot outside, everybody's tired, they wanna go home.
Well, there was one day that I just started getting yelled at. I'm like, I want to go home. I'm done.
Use common sense, don't use your emotions. That's the biggest thing too. Quit using your emotions on it. You're at work, don't bring them to work. It's simple.
Yeah, I was always told, leave your feelings at the gate. So essentially, before you even come in the gate to work, just leave your feelings there. You can get pretty emotional. Times get hard at work, working with different guys. Like they can be assholes. And that's just the way it is. Emotions, as hard as it may be, try to leave the emotions at home. Not gonna say that's always gonna happen.
Work. It's as simple as that.
The work doesn't stop on the coldest days or the hottest days. Often, you'll be working outdoors or on construction sites without air conditioning or heat.
My first day starting, it rained. It poured down raining. And I did not come prepared with a jacket or anything. I didn't even look at the forecast because I was just so excited to work. And I got rained on really bad from that day forward. As soon as I got off work that day, I went to buy me rain boots, raincoat.
Welding in the heat, that's hard because on top of the heat, you're wearing leather gear. You could have arm pads, thicker sleeves. Your helmet has weight on it, so that's weighing your neck down. There's a lot of things going on. So on top of sweating from just the heat outside, you have, molten metal that you're carrying, and that's going to add on to it as well. So.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very valid point that some people, I think, don't realize or think about is working in the elements. Most trades are working in the elements. As a lineman, I quickly realized working outside, working at heights, working long hours in all different weather elements, right? Rain, snow, wind, sun, it doesn't really matter. It's something that you have to try to prepare for the best you can. Pack like in Washington when I worked in the Northwest, I'd always come to work with an extra pair of clothes, socks, underwear, pants, shirt, sweatshirt, because if it starts raining or you end up working a long day and you're soaking wet because you were in the rain and your rain gear it's always a good idea to have an extra set of clothes, so when you get done with work you can put a dry set back on. Those are things I quickly learned and quickly realized, like here in Arizona, it's 115 degrees in the summertime, or, in Texas, it's hot. Being able just to hydrate and make sure you're taking those proper steps to be more prepared for the elements you deal with at work, that's something that you definitely have to keep in mind.
Wearing proper safety gear is essential in all conditions and is just as important as dressing for the weather.
So if you think you're going to come to work without a hard hat on, without safety glasses, without gloves, without all that basic PPE, well, you're not working that day and you're not getting paid either.
Especially with the lifts too, we have to have our vest and have our harness and everything on, so.
It's not uncommon for UA apprentices to take lunch breaks in their cars or on the go.
This is your lunch table. This is the truck.
30 minutes does not feel like enough, so once I get out to the car, I'm sitting there just eating my sandwich or whatever it is that I decide to make, just relax in the car for that little bit of time that I have and throw my vest back on and get right back to work.
Also, getting accustomed to using portable restrooms is essential when it comes to adapting to life in the construction industry.
I think that's the one main thing that I do not like about this is the porta johns.
Honestly, for the first week, I didn't go to the restroom. I just held it till I got off, honestly.
Apprentices start at the bottom. On the job, they're asked to do tasks that require the least amount of skill. Moving materials, unloading trucks. It's physical, requiring heavy lifting, climbing, and hours on your feet.
If you're told to dig a ditch, you're gonna be digging a ditch.
I'm actually pretty surprised so far how accurate they're actually talking about being an apprentice in a trade. Most times they fluff it up and make it sound better than it really is. But this video so far, they're doing a really good job of actually telling the truth and being honest with how it is being an apprentice for the most part.
And there's no getting out of it. I mean, if you want to get out of it, you can hit the road. That's all there is to it.
It was one day we had to take off from production to move material for the roofers. I'm talking big, heavy headers, carbon steel, heavy, moving them from the east side to the west side, just carrying them. I had back pains for, I want to say 3 to 5 days.
With the pipe that we work with is so heavy, and then we have 5 floors on this building itself. So when we didn't have the buck hoist, we have to walk up and down, up and down, up and down.
Today I cleaned the debris from a chiller. Yeah, you know, for the most part as an apprentice, you're stuck doing stuff like this. But I'm the type of guy who, you know, let's just get it over with. Whether you're a journeyman or not, I'd rather get in there and get out, you know.
I think this guy probably has the easiest job. He gets to drive around from job site to different locations and just work on HVAC systems. Honestly, I would probably pick the HVAC apprenticeship just because, like, I don't know, it seems more up my alley. Welding's cool, but like he's different locations, he's working different places, he's driving around. Seems a little bit more up my alley than just working at one job site like sprinkler fitter or pipe fitter or something like that. But this guy's job is like the easiest out of all these guys' jobs.
The work doesn't end when the job site shuts down. All apprentices are required to attend classes at their local training center.
Of course, after you're taking a brutal beating at work, working 8 hours, then you have to drive to the training center.
At least for me, my home.
I mean, come on, to be honest, taking a brutal beating after 8 hours of work, it's not much for brutal beating. I think they're kind of exaggerating a little bit too much on some of these things where they're making it less appealing, which is surprising to me. Most of the time, they usually make it sound more appealing than it actually is, but they're kind of making it sound like this is hell. It's not that bad. I mean, I went through a pretty rigorous apprenticeship, you know, a Northwest IBW Union Lineman apprenticeship. I won't say it was easy, but I don't have too many bad things to say about it.
Me, my home's an hour, almost hour and a half away. I'm not driving all the way home and coming back, so that's not an option for me. I don't do it every day, but some days, like maybe near the end of the week, Thursday, Friday-ish, if I have class that day, I will definitely show up. I get there about 3 o'clock, sleep till 5, or about 4:45, get up, go in the classroom.
Once I get off of work, then I try to make it home to shower. If not, I just go dirty and stinky and just sit in class and just try to get my work done, try to stay awake.
On nights I have school, I have to shower and I get in bed pretty late and have to be right back up the next day, repeat it.
Almost an hour and a half away from me, so I don't get to bed until about midnight.
In addition to learning about the trade, you'll also study math, algebra.
Everywhere you go, like in a union apprenticeship, the classes, the in-class training, it's all going to be structured a little bit differently. I mean, everywhere you go. How they do it here is going to be a little bit different or a lot different than how the UA does it somewhere else. Even within the lineman apprenticeship in the Northwest, we do be one every other Saturday for 6 months. And then other places, it's 1 week in a month for the full year. So it's a little bit different everywhere you go. But yes, you can expect to spend, you know, a couple evenings a night, a whole weekend, a month, or every other Saturday dedicating to in-class learning and this kind of stuff.
Algebra and geometry, and be expected to complete homework.
My first day soldering and brazing, we had some isometric drawings and some elevation. I'm looking at the board, I'm like, okay, I know I haven't graduated too long ago, but this looks hard.
Physics, chemical formulas, all that fun stuff.
Apprentices can also
Well, the HVAC guy, of course, it's physics and chemical formulas and all that kind of stuff. So if you do want to get an HVAC, I will say, you know, there it probably is a little bit more, I would say, yeah, physics and chemistry and like math, because there's a lot more that goes into the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigerant systems than just like welding or like doing actual just pipe work. But there's places you can learn. If you get like some online HVAC training at hvacroadmap.com, you can learn more about these different systems and the math and the certifications and things that are going to help you if you like to, you know, dip your toes in the water before jumping straight in.
apprentices can also apply their classroom learning towards an associate degree of arts or science.
I actually didn't even know that these classes were considered college credit through Washita Community College, but I plan on using those in the future. That's definitely a big thing for me.
Yeah, that's another thing that people don't realize. I did make a whole separate video about this, about the bachelor degree in the blue collar world is going through a union apprenticeship. You do get college credits that you can use toward like an applied science or a construction management degree of some sorts like that at certain community colleges, whatnot. So you do get college credits for completing a union apprenticeship, which is pretty cool. And a lot of people don't even think about that. I have credits. I don't really see myself using them towards a degree, but they are there if I want to use them.
Big thing for me.
Being on time is critical to class and on the job. You'll be taking what you learn online and in the classroom and applying it daily on the job site, giving you real-time applications of the principles you've just studied. Not only is this important for doing the job correctly, but it will allow you to work safely so you and your coworkers make it home in one piece at the end of each day.
Who wants to get hurt? You never know how bad you're gonna be hurt. You're gonna be off the job.
Construction work is not for everyone, but for the right people, it's a rewarding career with endless possibilities. There's continued education, the ability to advance within the union, or even own your own business.
I'd say I just want to work my way up.
I'm thinking maybe like management or, you know, instructor or something like that, so that way I can give my body a rest before I retire.
Definitely looking forward to the benefits.
The retirement, 401k, you know, the different accounts, medical, vision, dental. I mean, that stuff's hard to come by anymore.
If I need to go see a doctor, I just see a doctor. I don't have to worry about, you know, well, how am I gonna pay this? And then I'm getting every week I'm getting paid, so, I mean, my money's coming.
You just gotta keep going, motivate yourself. If nobody motivates you, motivate yourself. You should always wanna motivate yourself.
It is worth it. It is worth it. Within 2 years, 3 years of being in the trade, I've earning so much money that we bought a brand new, real comfortable new minivan. We're on our path of buying a new home. It changes your life.
Especially if you're a woman, just make sure that you know what you're getting into, because they're gonna treat you like you can't, but we can.
Women can do anything men can do, and don't let nobody ever tell you you can't. If you're willing to come in and learn and work, and you have your mindset right, anybody can do it.
At the end of the day, you know, you're going to be sore, you're going to be tired, you're not going to want to wake up, you're going to want to get some more sleep, you know, but coming to work with a good attitude, that's probably the biggest thing.
The key to a great, long-lasting career with the UA is knowing what to expect. Hopefully this video has given you a look into the realities of our work and helped you decide if this is the right career path for you.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, they did do a pretty good job. I had different expectations for how they were going to depict on how the apprenticeship and apprentices like being apprentices. I thought they were definitely going to fluff it a lot more, but they did pretty good explaining the realities of it. I would think so. From going through a union apprenticeship and being in the trade now for a while and having apprentices and stuff, they did a pretty good job of explaining that. So, hey, if you want to get into a pipe trade, HVAC, pipe fitting, sprinkler fitting, those pipe trades, check out the UA, United Associations. I'll have a link in the description. If you work in the pipe trades, if you're an apprentice or if you're a journeyman and you work and you're part of the UA, go down in the comment section down below. Comment your local, comment your trade, and if people have questions, leave them down there. Let's get a community going. Let's have people helping each other out. If you have a question and you happen to be in the comment section and you see someone's question, answer that question for them. Just, help them out. We're all community here, part of the blue collar world, and we're just here to help each other out. So hopefully you guys can learn from this video what the UA is and what the realities of being an apprentice in the pipe trades is really like. The Blue Collar EDU, I'm here to expose, teach, and educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities and how to get started. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.